think it's phenomenal. Everything's good, but everything sucks, right? So we all know how some people are. I give them a blast motion and they start overthinking everything. It's almost like I don't want them to look at the numbers. I simply just need it. What I love about it is I had this conversation with Cody last night, and I said, what I've seen is the coaches with the biggest egos, they don't like technology because they don't like seeing if they're wrong or not. Having the numbers is data, it's actual facts. Like, hey, it looks good, but it's like, hey, the bat speed's way off, the attacking angle is way off, like the angles are way off, right? It's not about being right, it's about getting it right. It's the most important thing. So if you're looking at a player and you're onboarding him, and like when I'm onboarding players, I'll look up their PG reports, their perfect game reports. What's their bat speed? What's their attacking angle? What are scouts saying about them? All that type of stuff. And say it's like, hey, like you move well, but I don't think you have enough speed. And you look at blast motion, it's like, oh, he swings 72 mile an hour. Like he has enough speed, it just looks a little bit different. And Cody and I have a player that's like that too. He looks like he's swinging slow, but he actually swings like 73 mile an hour. So it's like, it's just how he looks. It's not the actual speed. Or it's like, I like having the validation of the numbers of, hey, I feel like you're swinging a little bit uphill. Then they're like, I don't feel that. And it's like, yeah, you're swinging 20 degrees uphill. Like the best big leaguers are swinging around 10. Like that's where we got to match. And sometimes it's like you have the numbers to be like, hey, it's not me saying that, it's simply just the numbers. Like I'm not being an old school head coach, or I'm not being an old school coach. Like you're simply swinging 2 degrees too much up. Like that's all it is. Or it's like, hey, like where you want to go, you want to be the next Dylan Cruz at LSU. He swings 5 mile an hour faster than you, and that's just what it is. Those are the numbers. The tricky part is when they start looking at the numbers too much and they start trying to be perfect. It's like ultimately, it's like the baseball does not care if your blast motion what your blast motion numbers are. They care about if you can barrel the ball or not. So sometimes having too much information is tricky, but it's tough. But ultimately, I think it's been a really good investment, easily the best one I've done. And it really helps their buy-in too, because they get to see the numbers, they get to see progress, they get to see if it's not just Trey spewing out things, they get to actually go off of the numbers, and it is beneficial. And it's not always just going off me. I don't want to be the guy who always just has to be, hey, look at me, this is my opinion. Like the numbers are what the numbers are. Like if I think you're smart, but you have a 2.0 GPA, like no matter what I think, you should still have a 2.0 GPA. Yesterday I talked to Cody, and I want to tweet about it, but I've been trying to stay away. Hitting Twitter was going off yesterday on HitTrax, and we've all seen it. It's just like a clickbait bullshit thing. A very small-minded thing. But I was talking to Cody, and what nobody is talking about, and for the benefits of HitTrax, they're all talking about the X velocities and gamification and all that, and it's all great. But the contact point, think about how important contact points are for hitters, right? So many of these old school coaches are like, you got to catch it deep, you got to hit the ball low. It's like, we can quantify that 100%. Now think about if we did this. We're gonna go doubles rounds where you can only hit doubles, and it doesn't count if the contact point is too far out front. We can actually quantify that. I want the ball to be like 6 inches in front of the plate, and you have to hit a double. Like that is incredible swing teaching, approach teaching, and just fundamental just in general. Anybody can hit it out super far out front and get extended and do that. But if you can have a tight swing and hit the ball somewhat deep and hit a double, that's teaching so many good things. People don't realize that. Or also think about so many old school coaches like, you gotta be able to put the ball where you want. It's like, okay, I'm gonna hit the ball to left field at 5 degrees. I'm gonna hit the ball to center at 20. I'm gonna hit the ball oppo at negative 5 degrees. It's a ground ball, right? We can quantify all that instead of being in your feelings and saying, that's not what we used to do, or oh, that's not right. Like simply like, I'm gonna teach a player how to swing 75 mile an hour, then 60 mile an hour, then 70 mile an hour, and getting the feel of their swing and going up and down the ladder. You do the exact same thing with HitTrax or Rapsodo or whatever you're using. Or simply think about this. We can teach off that contact point ladder, right? We get right in front of the plate, you get 6 inches in front of the plate, you get 12 inches in front of the plate, you get 18 inches in front of the plate. Imagine the feel and development and skill and awareness and all that you're developing by learning how to hit certain type of contact points. While doing that, you can hit certain parts in the field. It is insane, right? Training contact points is insane for your swing, for your development. People aren't talking about that. They just think X velo, and ultimately it's the Indian, not the arrow. It's about how you use it. Okay, my last point about this is I see this all the time. It really separates the dog versus the boys. When guys have good bat speed, let's say 60 mile an hour, which is a basic number. Let's say 60 mile an hour versus batting practice, okay? And they're swinging 60. Then when we go machine, just decent machine, their bat speed automatically goes, I've seen down to 10 mile an hour. The difference is how fast can you swing or how well can you swing versus that ball coming towards you at game speed, right?
In distance, like you were talking earlier.
Yeah. I've seen players who really struggle, not bat speed struggle, but struggle in the game, because once that ball starts coming at them, everything gets defensive and slow. Most importantly, everybody can swing fast, T, front toss, maybe even BP. But once that ball starts trying to get them out, even just a little bit, or even just a basic fastball, they start really slowing down and they look slow. So ultimately, I had a post the other day, and it was Bobby Witt Jr. His bat speed in game versus 95 and 100 with the slider is 73 mile an hour. Also in context, that's with most likely a drop 2, maybe drop 2.5, maybe. Most likely it's a drop 2 wood bat. He's swinging 73, 72 mile an hour versus 95 in a slider. You swinging 70, 75 or 73 with a metal bat in batting practice is nowhere close to being the same, right? So he's swinging a heavier bat and he's getting ambushed. So what do you think his training bat speed is? It's probably 80 plus. So you're nowhere close to what Bobby Witt Jr. is doing. So it plays a huge role in the environment. Ultimately, I wouldn't do any bat speed measuring. You can do a versus batting practice just to kind of get a baseline, but ultimately the only bat speed that matters to me is what it is when a pitch is actually trying to get you out, because everyone gets on their heels if you're not prepared enough. So what's your bat speed when you're trying to get embarrassed a little bit? That's what matters.